Around 3.4 million cats enter the shelter system each year, according to the ASPCA, and around 1.4 million of them are euthanized. An especially vulnerable demographic is the neonatal kitten, which requires special care and attention that is difficult to receive from shelters. That's where UCDavis's Orphan Kitten Project comes in.
The purpose of the Orphan Kitten Project is to, rescue neonatal kittens, the ones that are too small to survive in the shelter because they need the around-the-clock care. Like, for example, bottle babies that need to be fed every 2 to 4 hours. We have community fosters who take in these neonatal kittens and take care of them until they're older.
The project was started at the vet school in the 1990s and relies on the community fosters. Elliot Larson has been fostering kittens for about a year and a half.
Whoever responds first and has the best things to provide for that specific litter of kittens then fosters the kittens until they're ready to be adopted.
Fostering these kittens takes a lot of hard work.
You have to get up in the middle of the night to feed the kittens.
I'll help them go to the bathroom, then I'll weigh them in grams, and then feed them, clean them up. Usually they end up with milk on their mouths. And then weigh them again, and then most of the time they sleep when they're that young. They sleep 20 hours out of the day.
I visited Dr. Karen Verneau, the faculty sponsor for the project, and met the kittens she and her daughter were fostering. Pearl and Ruby were two very energetic 14-week-old kittens. They were both very interested in my camera at first, but eventually decided that playing was more fun. They have since been adopted together and will be leaving for their new home next week. Pearl and Ruby came into the program suffering from ringworm. While not fatal, it's very infectious and can easily spread to cats, dogs, and even humans. If they're forced to stay at shelters, it can often mean euthanasia. Thanks to the veterinary students at UCDavis involved in the project, Pearl and Ruby have been cured of ringworm.
This opportunity gives a lot of veterinary students a lot of hands-on experience that they wouldn't otherwise get in vet school.
Zin has fond memories of treating a kitten named Maggie, who suffered from feline infectious peritonitis.
It's a very deadly disease that often just happens in kittens.
Maggie had been adopted at 4 months of age, but returned 2 months later with the disease.
And unfortunately, without treatment, 100% of them would die.
Maggie had developed trouble breathing, and there was a fluid buildup in her lungs.
We were fortunate enough to get our hands on some drugs. They were donated from somebody that we knew, and then it was pretty transformative to see her recover in a matter of a few days because the drug is that effective. She was able to get up and walk around, and it's just heartwarming to see a kitten recover. And you didn't expect that to make it out alive, so.
But just like with real life, not every story has a happy ending. Dr. Verneau had been fostering a third kitten on the day I stopped by. She'd gotten him earlier that day and was keeping him in an incubator because he was incredibly weak. He'd started to perk up at the end of the day, and she was hoping he would recover. However, he passed away in the early hours of the next morning. Losing a kitten is one of the most difficult aspects of fostering for us, but we know we did all that we could for him, said Dr. Verneau. Zen agrees.
I think the hardest part for me is dealing with losses at the same time. We do have kittens that don't make it every year, and I think it's just emotionally very difficult to deal with.
Another difficult part of the foster system is when the kittens get adopted. Elliot Larson was fostering a kitten named Goldberry, who was adopted the day after our interview.
Oh, it's hard. It is always hard. I usually cry. But it also, I always try to stay in the mindset that if I kept all the kittens I fostered, I wouldn't be able to help any more kittens because my house would fill up with cats.
Larson recommends fostering for the Orphan Kitten Project.
They're right on top of things. They provide the supplies, the kitten formula and blankets and food and litter, that sort of thing. I think it's really taught me a lot about kittens.